7 p.m.
Jason Nolan, Josh Klein,
Yes.
David Barrett,
Yes.
Jonathan Larson,
Yes.
Jonathan Yeagle,
Yes.
Dave Inger,
Yes.
Francie Miller.
Yes. First is public comment or recognition of guests. And then we have presentations. Do we have any presentations?
No.
Okay. Communication, the IESB liaison talking points are in the board packet. And then committee reports.
Finance Committee met tonight. We took a look at the tentative budget for FY27, just kind of taking a look at revenue sources, looking at some expenditures.
Then administrative reports.
Okay, I will start. My just thing is really on my report, a couple of things that I highlighted. Number one is the new playground. If you haven't seen it, it is a wonderful structure. It looks amazing. Very excited for our students to get to all experience this new state-of-the-art facility. Our kindergartners were the lucky ones who got to experience this week and are currently experiencing it during Kindergarten Jumpstart. It's been great to see students back into the building and the excitement of learning taking place. So it's just really a wonderful space. Once again, it is accessible for a variety of students. It's a great opportunity for our students to build early learning skills like problem solving. And number one, and the last part of it too is just the physical development that kids create. There's a lot of structures. It's a very tall structure, so a great opportunity for gross motor development, strength development, etc. So looking forward to seeing the smiles and laughter on our youngest learners this year. Back to school information, just we're kicking off with all students on the 19th, at least K through 12. And so those will be 20 dismissals during that first week. A reminder that our first night kicks off for the Farmer City and Snyder campus on Monday, and Tuesday for VRIJHS. Once again, I'm just excited for all the work. There's been so much work from our admin team, from our educators, planning and preparing for the school year. Our maintenance group has done just an amazing job, even down a little bit with some of our staff with things that we were experiencing, but they have worked very hard and will continue to work hard to catch up and get all those projects and buildings ready to go for the beginning of the year. And I think that's it.
Have you guys drawn straws? Please one first. How did I know?
Okay, I just have a few things that I want to highlight from my report. As you know, this is our second year of implementing the K-8 CKLA curriculum. The teachers did a lot of work this summer, just aligning those curriculum maps and continue to strengthen their teaching strategies while they're implementing that. And even though we're going to continue strengthening our skills with that curriculum, we're going to kind of shift our focus now to looking more in depth at math. And so actually the week after we come back, or is it the week we come back, I'm going to be meeting with the high school math team like we talked about in the spring. I told you that we were going to kind of look to continue to explore if we want to continue that integrated model or if we want to shift back to a more traditional approach where we offer algebra, geometry, algebra 2. So we're going to have some more discussion and I will report back on that next month. In addition, the following week, I have the math coach from the ROE who's going to come and work with our district math curriculum review committee to really break down that Illinois numeracy plan. I think she's planning on doing 2 visits with us where we really dive in, discuss what the components of that are, and what are going to be the key takeaways that we need to make sure we keep in the forefront as we're adopting a new math curriculum for the 27-28 school year. It's going to be somewhat of an accelerated approach because we want to start getting professional development for the teachers, hopefully in the spring, so that we're ready to implement next August. Dual credit, our Ed Pathways course is up and going for the second year. This year, for the first semester, we have 4 Blue Ridge students and 1 DeLand Weldon student who will be participating. I'm really, really excited. We had our very first sub-induction day for substitute teachers. It's kind of like induction day that we do for all of our staff, certified and non-certified, but we felt like it was important to touch base with them, kind of share with them the ins and outs of each building, as well as the state wants us to make sure that they have crisis prevention training and that they have mandated reporter training before they start subbing. And so we were able to get a lot of that done. Kind of connecting back to the dual credit, I'm very excited that 2 of our students that were in that Ed Pathway course this last year are coming back, and they're going to sub for us this fall while they're going to college. So it's just, a great opportunity for us to give back to them even more experience. So that was really exciting to see, and they're going to be coming in for their training at the end of August. And then finally, last month I talked to you, maybe it was the month before, that we are going to start a music appreciation class at the intermediate and junior high for 7th grade exploratory. You approved a curriculum that we could use kind of as a foundation. I wouldn't say that it was a complete curriculum with a scope and sequence. We talked about that a little bit, and that we were going to have to add some things. And so I have Colin here, who is our K-8 music teacher, who put together that scope and sequence that I shared with you in my board report. He offered to come and answer any questions because music is not my strong suit. So if you have any questions for Colin, he's here to answer anything that you might have before you vote on that later.
Paige, you mentioned orientation for substitute
Yeah.
teachers. Is this the first time you've done that?
Yeah, it is the first time. We had 15 subs come to this first one. We're going to offer 2 more trainings. I think we have 4 signed up for next week, and then another 3 subs the following week.
Okay,
So,
good.
yeah, just a way to, well, one, for us to thank them and make them feel more comfortable coming into the buildings, not that they're just winging it when they walk in and, okay, here's the classroom you're in, good luck. So hopefully that will be
They
good.
did a very nice job organizing all of that and planning and carrying it out, as well as induction day and mentoring too. We had some very productive days last week, getting people ready to be in the school year, so thank you.
It was good. It was good. And I feel like that we're seeing, now that we're providing all of these extra supports, I feel like we're seeing our turnover is a lot less than it was before. I feel like it's so important not just offering that induction day, but getting them connected with a mentor. I meet with them and their mentor the first 2 weeks of school, and then I continue to meet with all those new staff at least once a month, just as a check-in, so that way we don't get to an issue and, hey, I'm leaving, whereas maybe if we would have had some of those conversations earlier, I could have helped them kind of guide through there. So I think that that's really exciting that we're seeing less of that as well. And I want to thank Colin because the scope and sequence he put together was incredible. I really liked, towards the end of the year, they're going to talk about music in the industry. Do you want to kind of talk about the different career paths that they can take?
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that we've talked about, if you remember right, we added a careers exploratory at the junior high, and so his class at the end will kind of play into that. You want to kind of talk about how you'll talk about the different careers that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so I used just as like kind of a jumping off point. It was a full year-long curriculum that was put together by the school district for Tipton, and they had 3 entire weeks dedicated to like careers in music. So they talked about music teachers, music producers, music therapists, music engineers, and then everything that's like with the recording industry. So you have like studio designers, sound recorders, audio engineers, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it like fits in together with the career readiness stuff that we've been
Awesome.
trying to.
I think the kids are gonna love that component of it and not just learning, about composers and songwriters, but I think that'll be a really good facet to that, so.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, very cool.
Okay, thank you. Hello, good evening, we're back. I know a few of you did the playground tour. Did you like it? Did you climb?
He tried to get Jonathan to go on the merry-go-round and he declined.
It's safe.
I was
It's-
gonna spin them.
So
It's a risk-taking
it
device.
is a risk-taking device, and actually what has been helpful to have those kindergarten kiddos out there this week during Jumpstart is us figuring out what new rules we need to implement. Like, maybe don't fling yourself off the spinner toy. So we will do all of that the first week of school. We actually, that was one of the things I wanted to mention, we are doing a relaunch, of PBIS, which is a system that is designed to support our students in their behaviors. We were our staff was trained in it many, many years ago. How many years ago?
We've done some just small kind of relaunching type things.
Yes, but we have 25 years now. Okay. I was gonna say, because we have one teacher who's kind of leading the charge in that, and we have quite a few teachers who are interested in relaunching it and being trained themselves, and then kind of taking the lead in training our staff. So we're gonna do that in this coming year. We're just gonna leave everything the same that we have right now, but we're going to train our core team in partnership actually with the ROE. They've been phenomenal with the support of our district. They're amazing. But her name is Amy Flamini. She's actually a national PBIS trainer formerly before she joined ROE. So she's going to work with our staff throughout the entire school year, and we're going to kind of lay the groundwork so that we can kick it off next year. One of the things that we're continuing that is not new is PBIS rotation stations. And what we do is we take the kids around to the different locations in the building, including the playground, and lay out the expectations for them. So, when you're in the lunchroom, these are the expectations. When you're in the hallway, these are the expectations. And this year we're actually going to do it where on the first day of school, everybody's going to do it together. In the past few years, the teachers had kind of done it on their own. And we're noticing that some of our language is not carrying into all of the spaces. So what one teacher considers okay may not be what another teacher considers okay. So we're going to get all back on the same page with that this year. One of the greatest things we did this summer that I think I'd like to expand it next year is we had a summer reading program for our students who received Title I reading services. And we opened it up to all of our kiddos who were getting Title I reading. They were allowed to come in every Wednesday and trade in baggies of books, and every time they came in to trade, they got a little drawing into a raffle. And today, so throughout the summer, we did that about 6 times, and today was the celebration. So everybody who had read throughout the summer had their names in the raffle. We did a little celebration with snacks and juice, and we did a raffle drawing, and then we had all of these amazing books they were like brand new, and they got bags and just filled their bags with essentially brand new books. It was wonderful. So that was fun. I think next year I'd like to see if we might be able to either open it up to everybody or figure out a way to pull in some more students, because it was very easy to pull off. You can go, it's okay. I wouldn't say if I didn't have to. No. And then the only other thing I just wanted to mention is that I'm working with Mr. Payton on getting a ribbon cutting together for our playground. We're kind of tentatively thinking that first Friday of the first week of school, right before lunch. So we would just do kind of a ribbon cutting celebration. We would let some kids play, some kids go back inside and eat lunch, and then they would get to trade spaces. I've been very impressed at how aware the kiddos have been. I'm not sure if you saw in the back part, but there's almost like this rope, what would you call it, stepping, kind of climbing thing. And you can't really fit more than a couple kids on that at a time. And the way they are patiently waiting or saying excuse me or watching out for people within that space with these 5-year-olds who haven't even been to kindergarten yet has been so impressive. So we are on the right track with outdoor learning. I'm excited. So thank you all for that. I'm so excited.
And we'll have an update to you guys about the ribbon cutting as soon as we have that.
Yeah. Any questions? Okay.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to share a few things about kind of the start of the year. Our online registration went pretty well. We were able to reach out to most of our families. We just have a few left that are returning students. Today, I think we've registered our 8th new student to our school, so it's been nice. Most of the families have come in, and so myself and Mrs. Colross have been able to take them through the school and just show them where everything's at, so that's been really cool, welcoming these new families to our community, but also into our school. You guys saw in our report that we've had a few staff changes, not too many. We have Carmen Pondell is going to be our art teacher that we're going to share with Schneider. She's been working hard all summer. If you could see our art room, everything is like labeled. There's all the drawers. She's very much a type A, and I'm excited to see how that plays out in her professional practice, because she's been on it. And I mean, this is coming in on her own time, of course. We also have Mr. Hernandez, who's going to be our junior high PE teacher. We're pretty excited about him. He's got a lot of experience with strength training, coming from some NCAA teams and some professional teams. So we're kind of excited to see how his second career plays out and how he helps our junior high kids grow with the physical education. Also, a couple new aides we have coming in with Grace Williams and Teresa Bugar. So we're excited about that. And of course, you know about Megan Hardesty, who's been in our district for quite some time, is now moving into the classroom. So we're super excited that our sixth grade team is welcoming her in. Lastly, a couple things left. Our fall sports are underway. Unfortunately, our boys baseball game was our first one tonight. It's at home, and it got with the rain, and our field got a little flooded, so we kind of had to call it a little bit early, even though the rain did stop. And then our girls game got also postponed, but they have started off 3-0, so they're 3-0 right now, doing really well. Right.
Amazing, yes.
So we're super excited about our teams getting rolling here, even though school hasn't even begun yet. Last thing I want to remark is just some of the great work that got done around the school over the summer months after students got out. If you've ever been up on our stage, we've had this room that was built on way before I got there, and it basically housed all of our play stuff and a lot of our athletic equipment and uniforms and stuff. And then as our plays have gotten bigger, we've acquired more props and more costumes and stuff, and we just needed more space. So there was another space I guess that would be stage right, but to your left, I don't know those terms very well. But Mr. Hauser came in, and I was able to put in a door, frame it in, so that now we've got 2 locked spaces that we can have, where we can have more storage. We'll have play stuff on one side and sports stuff on the other. So we're super excited about that. A lot of plaster work got done around the school. I mean, the remnants of Mansfield High School in our junior high, as it was so called in the past, you know, the bones are solid in that place, but once in a while it needs a little bit of cosmetic work. And so thanks to you guys, we've got the tuck pointing done outside, so some of the issues that we had with some water coming through, I hope those will be resolved, and some of the plaster that got damaged with some of that water coming through got repaired too and painted. And so the school is looking, I don't know when the high school was built, but it's probably looking a lot closer to that than it ever has been in some time. And lastly, 2 of our staff went into the lounge, Mrs. Plowick and Ms. Jameson, and they're like, we need a little refresh. So they got they're experts in this Facebook marketplace thing, and they found some really inexpensive things to decorate it. They went and grabbed a can of paint and painted kind of the main wall in there, and it just, you know, it's one of those things that seems little, but hopefully it helps with our community and culture as everybody's coming back roaring to go. Any questions? Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have a lot. We haven't had a whole lot of students. I mean, we had band camp, as you saw I shared. Our fall sports are underway, but we haven't started games yet. Those get going, I think. Well, actually, our girls are hosting the golf invite next Monday, so that'll be the first thing of the season. But yeah, we've had a lot of different trainings going on. I think last week, the thing that stood out to me was our PLC trainings. Our admin team we got to meet with our ROE rep, Jonathan, Professional Learning Communities, the PLCs. We were doing those on our early release days. On those 130 releases, we put teams together within our buildings that are going to focus on something that they as professionals can do to impact student learning in a positive way. In some of the PLCs, and some of it's based on college and career readiness, and then the high school, we also have one on building climate. So really excited to see that focus. And then the training the next day was for our staff that are going to be leading those, because they were very unsure of what was going to be expected of them, and they didn't have any guidance or anything. Well, they got it last Tuesday, and it was nice to see the light bulbs kind of go off for come on for some of them now when they got a clearer picture of what's going to happen. I mean, I know that will happen for our staff once we start explaining them that all to them as well. Let's see, registration's going on. Yeah, we got 161 registered so far at the high school. Like Bert, we've been making calls to some families of kids that were with us last year that the families just haven't quite gotten around to register, and I believe we have a clear picture of what's going to happen with all those. Some new families to the district, and then kind of interesting this year, we had more homeschool kids who are doing homeschool, but they wanted to be a part of some things here at school, so they're coming in and registering for a class or two. And so, been able to offer them things like, chemistry and obviously driver's ed or art or band, intro to shop. I mean, just a variety of different courses that have not been typical for homeschool. So my hope is they'll come in, they'll experience that, and I joked with one of them, I said, you could be here all day. It would be fine. We'd be happy to have you. So, I'm pushing for that, but I do think that we have good things to offer. So, any questions?
You painted the window.
That was
Been several months ago.
yeah. The rest did that, or O&M did. So yeah.
Yeah. A lot of things have been
You got
happening.
that straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how Ryan felt.
That's how I hurt my arm.
He was holding onto the window while I was
It's
doing
a
it.
good story.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Easter.
Okay. Approval of consent items next. Does anyone have any questions or comments about consent items? If not, I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items listed on attachment A as presented.
So moved. Second.
Yeagle and Sid.
Jonathan Yeagle,
Yes.
Jason Mullins, David Harris,
Yes.
Sig Inger,
Yes.
Jonathan Larson,
Yes.
Josh Hahn,
Yes.
Francie Miller.
Yes. Up next is new business, so we have no old business. New business, tentative FY27 budget approval.
Okay, so we will take a look. You should see just a tentative budget that's on here. Remember, this is a guess at this point. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, so this is a preliminary look. When we do budgeting, right, kind of the focus that we have is conservative budgeting, so we are going to overestimate expenditures and underestimate revenues. So when you take a look at the revenues here, we talk about those. Basically, I'm looking at, I read 97% is what I'm underestimating our revenues at. So hopefully those numbers increase a little bit. So if you take a look on page 5 at the top, what you will see at the top as you go across, and I'm sorry to bring you on, I keep forgetting to bring those for you guys. I will next time. On the top row, you're going to see the funds that are there. I tried to star them this time to kind of give you a little bit of an idea. Sometimes I call them X's, but they're stars. So we're going to start with star 1. If you look at star 1, you look at that row and you go across 3. What that's going to show you is our projected, so it's our unaudited fund balance. And so if you take a look across there, you can see in ed fund we have about 10 million, operations and maintenance 3.4, debt service around 715, transportation almost 1.3. You can see IMRF and municipal retirement at 408, capital projects 316,000, working cash 762, tort and is 196, and then you can see fire prevention 2.1 million. So the next line I'll kind of draw your attention to will be kind of our projection of revenues. That's star 2. If you take a look at that, we're projecting to bring in around 12,080,000 this year. That's a combination of local, state, federal money that is coming in. A majority of that is our local tax money that we bring in. And the big increase that you see, it's almost 900,000, almost $1 million this year. A big part of that is due to the windmill from Piatt County, which brought in quite a bit of money. We're only seeing about 60% of that money. next year, because last year when we did our tax levy, it had only been operational for about 6 or 7 months. And so we should see an increase when I do the tax levy for next year, so that revenue should increase next year. If you go down in that same column in Fund 10, a few rows, you'll see the star 3. That is our direct disbursements. Those are our projected expenditures. So we're right around 12 million there. Remember, that is over expending. We're not going to get to that point. That is an overestimate of where we're at. We'll have a little bit more detailed numbers when we meet in September. With that, in case, that's around a $36,000 surplus, I think, is what we're projecting there. That should increase, though, as we get to September at the end of the year. If you go down a little bit further, right below that star 3, you can see in row 21. I'll give you a minute to get there, but that's our ending cash balance on hand. So you can that row will show you kind of what to expect at the end of the year. That's where we should finish, 10,109,000. Ed fund, we're looking at a lot of things there, salaries, benefits. We're budgeting in things like a new math curriculum, which is a pretty costly number. We have a new teacher that we added with a new 6th grade section. Like, all of those things go into that number. Insurance and benefits, those type of things go into those increases. Next month of September, you will see a more clear breakdown of what that looks like when we do the presentation during the 650-10 budget, or during the budget presentation. As we move over to column D is Fund 20. That's our operation and maintenance fund. So that's where we do everything that keeps our buildings operational so that our kids can learn at a high level. You can see at star 1, 3.4 million is where we are projecting to kick off the year with our fund balance. As you go down to star 2, you can see those are our revenues. That 1.54 million is our projections, about $200,000 more than what we received last year. If you go down to the 3rd star, you will see the revenue there, the expenditures there, 2.4 million. That's a little bit higher. Number one, that's higher because if you remember, we are utilizing our fund balance in that fund to pay for our playground. So there's about an $892,000 deficit projected in that area. $635,000 of that is for the cost of the playground. We bought our new O&M truck this year. There are several other things which we'll discuss in more detail in next month. But once again, that's still an overestimate of expenditures. I still think that we'll be within much lower than that. But if you take a look at the bottom, you can see our ending cash on balance in star 3. Just right below star 3 on 21 is 2.5 million. So really we're in a pretty solid space and a solid fund balance, even with spending that 892,000. About 2 times more than what we expended anyway. Move over to Fund 30. You can see star 1 is $715,000. That's what we currently have in there, unaudited numbers. We're projecting, if you look at star 2, to bring in 1.274, and we are expending 1.237. So we are doing well in that area. That just basically pays our principal, our interest, and our fees. That's our long-term debt that we're basically paying. If you go to Fund 40, you can see that's our transportation fund. 1.3 million is how much money we have there, almost 1.4. That's a pretty decent fund balance for us, to be honest, especially with us, traveling 212 square miles, or being a district of that size. We do a lot of transportation in our district. If you take a look there, revenues we're expected to bring in about 989,000. I will tell you that we're seeing a decrease in the amount of money that we're receiving this year. Actually, the mandated categoricals are supposed to drop even more. Regular transportation is projected prorated at 68%, and then SPED is down to 55%. So we're going to see those cut. And so what I've done, and I did this last year as well, is I've been utilizing part of that CPRT money, about $250,000, which is half, to place into that revenue stream so that we continually are finishing with a surplus. Without that $250 that we're using for CPRT, we would be in the hole in that area every year. And so what I'm trying to do is build that fund balance so that we can continue to have that there. The good thing is that we've actually, even with our 989 in there, is what we projected for revenues, our disbursement, our expenditures on star 3 are 992. I still think that is an overestimate. I think that will be under that, and I still think we'll end up in the black this year. But that's going to be a fun to watch in the future. Fund 50 is IMRF, Municipal Retirement and Social Security. You can see we have 408 in there. Revenue, we're expecting to bring in about 371. That's star 2. If you look at star 3, we're expecting to spend somewhere around $450,000. Even with that discrepancy, we're still at a fund balance of $329,000. So we're still doing very well in that area. That's also an unrestricted fund, so if we ever get to a part where our fund balance gets too low, we can ask for what we need to in our tax levy. So that is something that is possible. Fund 60 is our capital projects. If you take a look at star 1, we have about $316,000 in there currently. You can see that our revenue source is around $110,000. That money is from our 1% sales tax. So we do a portion of that goes into Fund 60. So what we're projecting is to have in there somewhere around $426,000. We're expecting to spend somewhere around $315,000 out of that space, that's just in different projects. Some of those are projects that the facilities committee will still be meeting on to determine what direction we want to go. So those are just kind of some projections that are in there, so we have that money available, but we will meet as a facilities committee to talk about some of those, what are our priorities and what are our next steps with some of those projects. If we go into Fund 70 is our working cash. Working cash is a fund where you can see that in line 3, star 1, we have $762,000 in there currently. We're projecting to bring in around $135,000 in that fund. So if you take a look at row 21, we're expecting to end up with just about $900,000, just under that. That is the only fund that we can utilize. Basically, we can abate money from there to put into any of the other funds. And so if we have projects, big projects, a variety of things that we want to do, we can utilize that funding for that. And last but not least, we have Fund 90, that's HLS, or fire prevention. You can see we have $2.1 million in there. If you remember, that money really comes from the HLS bonds that were done a few years ago after we did the 10-year HLS project, or survey. If you look in there, we're bringing in about $160 in revenue. We don't bring a whole lot of revenue in there unless really you're doing bonds at those high levels. You can see that we're projecting to spend somewhere around $687,000. That's for the tuck pointing projects that were split between BRSC and Mansfield. That's about $390,000. The rest of it we're just have in there so we can start working toward completing several of the priorities on the HLS list.
Tort, anything about tort?
Oh, did I skip it? Sorry, yeah, tort. Let's go to tort. I missed Fund 80. If you take a look at Fund 80, you can see we have $196,000 in there. We're expecting to bring in around $374,000. If you take a look at the disbursements, expecting to spend around $412,000. We did see a big increase there in our workman's comp insurance this year. That was a big number. And so hopefully that's something that we can kind of pay attention to and help to offset in years to come. But overall, we're still looking at a fund balance of $158,000. That is also an unrestricted fund, so we can't always ask for more if need be. We've also utilized some of these fund balances and spent them down to help lower some of the tax rate as well. And that'll probably be a conversation that we have when we move to the tax levy in the fall. Any questions about this tentative budget? Once again, it is a tentative budget. There will be some changes once we get to September.
If there are no questions, I need a motion and a second to approve the tentative budget for the Blue Ridge Community Unit School District number 18 for the 2026-2027 fiscal year as presented.
So moved.
Sid?
Second.
Josh?
Jason Nolan, Sig Anger,
Yes.
David Harris,
Yes.
Jonathan Larson,
Yes.
Josh Hahn,
Yes.
Jonathan Diego,
Yes.
Francie Miller.
Yes. Next, we have the resolution to place the tentative FY27 budget on display and set a time and date for the public hearing.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, that's just a routine thing you have to do annually. The state requires that you follow these steps. And so what we want to do is basically set a public hearing for 6:50 on September 16th before our next board meeting, so that we can go over the tentative budget. I'll have the presentation that you'll be able to see. And also this gives us the opportunity to take the document that you saw today right here and to place that where it needs to meet all the requirements of posting a school district budget.
All right, so I need a motion and second to approve the resolution to place the tentative budget for 2026-2027 on display in the Office of the Superintendent, District Office, 411 North John Street, Parham City, Illinois, for 30 days for review by the public.
So moved.
Larson,
Second.
Sid,
Siginger.
Yes.
David Harris.
Yes.
Jonathan Larson.
Yes.
Josh Hahn.
Yes.
Jonathan Yeagle.
Yes.
Jason Nolan. Francie Miller.
yes. Next we have the intermediate junior high and Deland Weldon co-op girls basketball.
Yeah, hopefully you saw Shauna's recommendation that was in there. Deland Weldon had reached out about co-oping for girls basketball at junior high level. This is something we already do at the high school level, so it makes a lot of sense on that part to start building team chemistry, helping to learn some of our coaching philosophies and strategies, et cetera, as we kind of move through, that co-op and that partnership. Where they're projected to bring around 3 players for this upcoming school year. And we had talked about maybe even hosting a home game down there so that they can have some action, at their place. So I think it's a good opportunity for our kids and to strengthen, our pool of players. And it gives Deland Weldon an opportunity for these girls to play, which we want to make sure we provide that opportunity.
Any questions or comments? If not, I need a motion and second to approve the junior high girls basketball co-op with Deland Weldon for Blue Ridge Community Unit School District number 18 as presented.
Second.
Yeagle and David.
David Harris.
Yes.
Jonathan Larson.
Yes.
Josh Hahn.
Yes.
Jonathan Yeagle.
Yes.
Jason Nolan. Siginger.
Yes.
Francie Miller.
Yes. Next is the board policies, press 122, first reading.
All right, so yeah, basically you're going to see the first reading of Press 122. A lot of them are kind of reviewing and monitoring existing policies already in place or adjusting some language in relation to updated laws or updated court cases that have come through that have impacted maybe some of these policies. One of the ones that I see is probably one of the biggest ones that just kind of strikes is what conversation I've had recently about the timeline that it takes when individuals come to speak in open session. The recommendation from IASB is to move that from 5 to 3 minutes. So that'll be kind of a topic to touch base on. Nothing today needs to be voted on. We'll do that in the second reading. Committee members, did you guys have anything that stood out to you, as you read through that first reading?
Some additional language maybe,
Yeah.
not additional language, but I would like to see it on the public agenda, spelling out 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, like we talked about
How
some
you
of
go
the.
about it, yes.
Yeah, so,
And before each meeting, so people know how to
Yeah,
do this
yeah.
and what the time limit will be.
Yeah, I will reach back out to Patrick. I don't think I ever received, I think he was gonna share a potential agenda with me or some of that information. I will reach back out to him.
To make it more friendly.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we want clarity. Clarity is
Yeah.
fine, that's right, and people understand what to do. Okay, so let me reach out to Patrick.
Yeah,
Any-
maybe some other districts have wording like that, and if not, and it's a little different, because I do higher ed, but our agendas, we have it on ours, and it
Okay.
tells people very clearly how long they would have and what they need to do to be able to speak.
Yeah, Patrick had said that Springfield School District had one that he had read recently that
Yeah.
included
Maybe
that,
see
so
how they word it on there,
Yeah.
just so it's clear for
I will
someone
reach
that
out
might
to him.
have that.
why reinvent it if
That's a
we
good
can just
idea.
borrow it? Yeah,
Mhm.
sounds good.
Okay, anything else on press 122?
Pretty routine.
Okay, if not, we will move to declaring surplus equipment.
Okay, so, we have a lot of older surplus equipment that we're not utilizing, at Snyder anymore. We purchased some new things to upgrade some spaces. Let me get to that. I think there's really kind of 3 categories of items. The first one, I believe there are 36 wooden chairs. Those wooden chairs came from the back part of cafeteria where students eat breakfast typically in the mornings. They are older chairs. You can see some of them are falling apart. Some of the screws, and they're just not in great shape. Some of them are not bad, but it's time to move on. Additionally, there are 4 huge cafeteria tables that are there that needed upgraded, and then we have 27 desks somewhere in that area that are currently taking up space underneath the stairway, and we need to remove those and get those out. So basically how this works is that we need to declare these as surplus equipment, And then we will send out information to the community and through a couple of different ways, just letting them know that there is surplus equipment. You know, if you're interested in equipment, please contact us and you can come pick it up, and we'd love for you to take it. I don't think we're going to get much money out of it, just from what it is. And so a lot of districts are just recommending that, you know, if you can come pick it up and save us the time and hassle of our O&M taking it somewhere, it's going to save us time and money in the long run.
Any comments? If not, I need a motion and a second to approve surplus of items for Blue Ridge Community School District number 18 as presented.
Second.
Sid Larson.
Jonathan Larson,
Yes.
Josh Hahn,
Yes.
Jonathan Yeagle,
Surprised he
Yes.
takes a drink.
Right.
Jason Nolan, Sig Inger,
Yes.
David Harris,
Yes.
Francie Miller.
Yes. And I need a motion and a second to move from open session to closed session for the purpose of appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, dismissal of specific employees of the school district, and possible litigation at 7:41.
So moved.
Yeagle,
Second.
Josh,
Josh Hahn,
Yes.
Jonathan Yeagle,
Yes.
Jason Nolan, David Harris,
Yes.
Sig Inger,
Yes.
Jonathan Larson,
Yes.
Francie Miller.
yes.